He woke up knowing something was wrong. Her silence was louder than any words. What secret was about to destroy his world?
He woke up in the cold silence of his room. The morning began with a heavy sense of unease, as if his heart had sheltered a foreboding that refused to let go. His pulse thudded unevenly, every beat echoing like a warning. The air was thick, almost suffocating, as though the night had bottled up all of his turmoil and had allowed it to dissolve into the dawn. Sarah was standing at the window. Her silhouette was drawn against the pale grey light, but it felt like her eyes weren't looking outward, only deep inside herself. In her gaze there was something unspoken, and immediately he felt it. A shadow stood between them, impossible to ignore. On the table lay a stack of letters with yellowed edges, reminders of conversations that never happened, of promises left to rot as hollow words. All of it was a sign the crack had already begun. That evening he sat at the table, dinner untouched before him. The bread had hardened. The wine smelled sour. Everything around him whispered of the slow decay that had crept into their home. He felt the shadows in the room grow thicker, merging with the heaviness of his thoughts. In his trembling hands lay a photograph. Once her smile had been the symbol of his happiness, but now that face seemed distant, unreachable, like a memory borrowed from someone else's life. And then, one evening, he found the messages. The screen flickered with its cold light, the letters forming words he wished he had never read. Each sentence sliced through him, every line a knife cutting deeper into his faith. His heart stuttered with each new revelation. Inside those words was another life, another world, a place where he no longer existed. He read them again and again, as if punishing himself, until he felt something collapse within, an invisible wall giving way, leaving him with no ground to stand on. Outside, the city of Portland sparkled with its lights. People hurried about their lives, laughing, talking, some even singing under the rain. Life went on, but not for him. His world had collapsed in silence. The rain lashed against the glass as if trying to wash away his tears. He looked at his reflection in the window and did not recognize the man staring back, a worn, broken face, eyes filled with unspeakable pain. He understood then trust is glass, and once it shatters, it can never be pieced together again. She left quietly. The door closed almost soundlessly, yet for him the click was louder than thunder. The jewelry that once carried the weight of their love now dangled like lifeless metal, stripped of meaning. He stared at them for a long time, feeling how the past had turned into nothing more than a hollow shell. He stepped outside. The asphalt glistened with rain, streetlights shimmered in puddles, and his footsteps echoed in his chest like empty drums. Every step felt heavy, as if a piece of him crumbled with each movement forward. Pain was his only companion now, and even the air seemed soaked in betrayal. And yet, despite the darkness, a fragile spark remained. One night he noticed a candle on the table. Its flame flickered uncertainly, shivering in the draught, but still it burned. That fragile light became a symbol. Even in the deepest night, there is fire. Outside, in the crack of the sidewalk, he saw a tiny green sprout forcing its way upward. That small stem held more strength than his whole battered heart. He realized life always finds a way, even when everything feels destroyed. He began keeping a journal. Each line was a mix of anguish and faint hope. The ink sometimes bled, The words stumbled unevenly across the page, but they helped him breathe. He wrote about his fears, his anger, his grief, his sense of betrayal. And the more he wrote, the more he understood. Forward motion was the only way to survive. One morning, he climbed a hill just outside of Eugene. After the night's rain, the air smelled of wet grass and rich earth. The sun rose slowly, painting the sky in shades of gold. He stopped and looked back at the ruins, at his shattered past. None of it had killed him. It had scarred him, yes, but scars do not mean death. Betrayal had carved itself into him, but it had not stolen his breath. He drew in a long breath, and in that inhale there was release. For the first time, in what felt like ages, peace flickered within his chest. His heart still remembered the pain, but alongside it now glowed the smallest ember of light. In the rising dawn, he felt strength seep back into his bones. He knew then the past would always live inside him, but it could no longer chain him down. He walked down from the hill into the new day. His steps grew steadier, and in every stride there was a silent promise he would begin again. Betrayal had left its mark, but it had not erased his ability to trust, to believe. And in that morning air, heavy with the scent of earth and washed clean by rain, he finally understood, even in the deepest darkness, there is always a way to find the light.